All right, guys. Welcome to Meet the iCommunity from mygreatiphone.com. I'm Lucifer, and our guest this week is going to be Eric Elm, otherwise known as Bababooey13, creator of the BUUF theme, BUUF, otherwise known as Bababooey. And basically, it's a pleasure to have you this week. so,
Thank
um, first question will be more or less about your origins in the iCommunity. What made you decide to take the leap and jump into the jailbreaking world? And if also you remember when approximately was that?
whatever year was towards the end of the first year of the iPhones. Actually, I think my first gen iPhone I jailbroke because my boss at the time he had an iPhone first gen, but he only had T-Mobile, so he jailbroke it so he could unlock it.
Hmm.
The dude that he took it to jailbreak it, he installed and one of which was the same thing that Jim said was the NES emulator,
Hmm.
and I saw that and it blew my mind. You know what I mean? I mean, no one else had other apps on their iPhone yet. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just apps wasn't around, and I saw that on there, and I'm a huge old school retro gamer freak fan. You know, I mean, I don't spend that much time on them anymore, but when I see that, you know, it's nostalgic, and I grew up with Nintendo.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Same here.
that's what made me actually jailbreak my iPhone. I had no idea about themes. Themes didn't really. They were just. I think themes were just getting started, or
Hmm.
not really out yet. There were slight weird. It wasn't even winterboard. There was other modifications that you could do
Yeah,
if
yeah. I
you
remember there was Summerboard and other ones like that at the time.
through installer.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
Cydia just came out, or did that come out with the 3G? Anyways, yeah, that's
yeah.
kind of why I got.
Around that time. And once you did discover themes, what made you decide that that was the area you were going to pursue? What made you decide to try your hand and create your own?
Well, to be completely honest, John, I was an utter noob for like freaking 2 years into actually jailbreaking.
Hmm.
I was one of those dorks who took my phone to a guy to have him jailbreak it because I was so computer illiterate,
Right,
scared
right.
to death I'd brick the thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I used to have this. There was this one Russian dude in Van Nuys, which is kind of like the barrio of San Fernando Valley where I'm from.
Hmm.
And this dude, you know, he hacked PlayStations, iPhones, all that stuff, or Xboxes, the OG Xboxes.
Hmm.
And I just remember taking to that guy and giving him $15, and bam, I had Nintendo on there. But for a while, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was barely able to SSH. Every time I touched that thing, I was scared to do anything on it
Yeah, yeah.
because I was computer illiterate and I was just another drunk. So what happened was a couple of years ago, I moved out to Arizona because my girl had to get a job out here in order to get a certification in ultrasound.
Hmm.
And it just so happens that I took the big leap to get sober 2 months before I moved out here to meet her.
Congrats on that,
And
by the way.
actually, we've been together for 10 years. She moved out ahead of me. But to meet up without her, so meet up with her out here, like I said, I was 2 months sober.
Hmm.
I moved out here. I didn't have a dollar in my pocket. I didn't have a job. I didn't have gas to put in my bike to get to a meeting.
Hmm.
I was stuck in this little apartment all day long, and all I had was that freaking iPhone 3G and a laptop in front of me. So that kind of boredom after being either a drunk or drug addict for half of your life, you know, you got to do something.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely see it. Idle hands are the devil's plaything.
But getting into theming, I remember I started learning a little bit more about SSH, and I started jailbreaking my own devices.
Hmm.
And I think what started me off actually was Renee did a post on iEnthusiast.com about something about, yeah, there's something about themes having extra icons in them. You know, if you never actually look inside of a theme folder, you don't know what the hell's in there. You just know
Right,
it
right.
works. You know,
Well, the
as
average
just,
person, yeah.
just yeah, a normal everyday user, he doesn't
Hmm.
like SSH in and take a look what's in there and
Yep.
all that. So, I found out about icon names and this and that, and how there were a lot of images for apps that I didn't own, obviously in there. You know, it's things you
Yeah.
don't think about. So I started playing around, and like I said, I was really bored. So I mixed and matched a bunch of themes, is what I did, and I actually released it on
Hmm.
my great iPhone. Not taking credit for any of it, mind you. In the description, fully said, it was Glass Orb, the original Glass Orb by Toy Van,
Yeah, yeah.
and whatever his name is. and the black and white one with some wallpapers and this and that. I had a Boss Papers pack. It drove my old lady nuts because I wasn't paying any attention to her when she was home because I was already sucked into this thing when she was at work.
Yep.
I learned a little bit more about images because one of your guys that was on the repo for a while, not really part of My Great iPhone, I don't believe, Bob Pretelli or
Yeah.
Liverpool. Yeah, he helped me out with some keyboard theming for iAccess right after they blocked keyboard theming in Winterboard.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned that way and just started fooling around. I just picked it up and kind of became a love-hate relationship because it's a tedious freaking process, brother.
I heard. I mean, we've had some of our guys also try their hand at themes. We have D900 Man and Nazaroth, and they also the same thing. When you first get started, it's a very immense project to undertake, and you literally go through thousands of images, and most average people will have no clue about that. So I mean, that's actually one of the reasons why I haven't even bothered playing around with it either, because I'm very familiar with Photoshop, and it seems like it's too much. So I give you props on that. A lot of people wouldn't be willing to undertake the responsibility. Frankly, I mean that's the word. Once you start, you're sucked in, like you said. So
don't give me props. I'm sick, brother.
What's wrong, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm sorry.
What's wrong, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh no, I mean I'm sick in the head.
Oh well, we knew that. And speaking of being sick,
I also have some physical ailments, but
speaking of being sick in the head, anybody who follows you on Twitter knows pretty much what the deal is. My question is, when it comes to the handle you chose, when it comes to Bababooey, that's obviously a play on Gary Delabate from the Howard Stern Show. What made you choose that handle to go along with?
I'm a huge Howard Stern fan. I have a Howard Stern fist tattooed on my leg. I grew up with Stern. You know what I mean? It got me through some real rough times actually. And I first got on Twitter under duress, kind of. I didn't want to. I never wanted a freaking Twitter account. You just put a gun against my freaking head, But I was waiting for Black Rain to come out, and I had no idea who to talk to, about release dates and all that. I remember seeing on Cydia about like Jay Freeman following me on Twitter, Rick. And I opened up a Twitter account, and I didn't really give a crap when I signed up for Twitter. I figured, okay, I'll get my info, and bam, I'm gone,
Yeah.
But the first thing that came to my head was Bababooey, so I typed that in, nothing. Well, Gary's unlucky, he's always screwing up or whatever. Bababooey13, bam, it wasn't taken.
13 is a very unlucky number.
People got to know me by that name, so it was stuck,
Yeah. Now, another issue that's been tearing up the community, it's pretty much a 50-50 line, it's been divided, is the issue of piracy. Now, a lot of people are affected, but the average user, they're really not, unless they decide that they're going to be the ones who go and steal. Because my opinion is that piracy is stealing. It's a try before you buy, and then you just keep it for the next 7 months. That's stealing. This isn't really about my opinions, but if you look at the themes that you've released, all of the themes that you've released, the most recent being BUUF for the iPad, they're all free to the end user. And I noticed that a lot of them were posted on the Insanely I repo, which is known for a lot of crack tweaks and whatnot. My question is, what's your stance on piracy? How has it affected those that you've known? Do you agree with it, disagree with it?
Personally, I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem in multiple ways. I mean, it's not just an issue of stealing. I mean, it is stealing, straight out. I mean, I understand the whole concept of try before you buy. Screwed up thing is Android's got it on their app store. You're allowed to have it for, I think, 24 or 48 hours, something like that, before you can return it. I can understand also why Apple doesn't do that, because a lot of people, you can beat a game in 24 hours. Bam, return it. I did it. That's it. You get bored of something, whatever. It's kind of that's kind of a toss of the whole try before you buy thing, in my opinion. But if someone's putting out their hard work on a venue, no matter what it is, and saying, this is it. If you want it, buy it. Here's my screenshots. Here's the description. You can go online, look up 1,000 different videos, people, reviews, whatever. So try before you buy. I understand that, but at the same time, you can get a good idea of whether something's good or not before you buy it. Besides that, I mean, most themes are what, $2? An average of $2 for a paid theme. you're talking about hours upon hours of the tedious work that we just spoke about, man, going into these themes that are just being, you know,
Right,
it's
right.
like they're giving them away, man. I mean, who wants to spend that many hours on a total of $100?
Hmm.
You know, and besides that, it's art. The reason I give my themes away, number one, because it's BUUF. BUUF Icon Pack was made by Matahan, and
Hmm.
he gave it away and has asked that if you create something with his icons, do the
Hmm.
same. So, I try to keep that in respect and
Hmm.
keep it that way. Besides that, I have a day job, man.
Yeah.
I don't, I've had rough times. I don't make near as much money as I used to. I'm now just starting to get a little more work, consistent work, which is a good thing.
Hmm.
But um, but being that it's his art and I'm putting it in my theme, and that I have a day job, and there's not a lot of good free themes out there anymore. There used to be. Once
Yeah.
the Cydia store opened, people started making a business out of it, which was good because it also pushed guys to make more complete, better themes. I think.
Right, right.
But piracy, I think, it disgusts me, to tell you the truth, and I'm guilty of doing it at times, like watching a movie,
Right. Yeah,
whatever. But
yeah.
ultimately, I go and see the movie in the theater, or I buy and rent the thing in the
I,
room.
I'm with you on that. You should. I mean, if you were to go into my room right now, you'd see 7, 8 shelves filled with DVDs and the whole crate full of Blu-rays. And I'm the type of person who, by the end of the day, if it's a movie I went to see in the theaters, I've spent well over $50 on that movie. So,
Yeah.
I have another question, which you recently touched on. You just brought on the fact that BUUF was originally created by Matahan. You've you've pretty much taken on that project and created versions of that theme. But are there any plans in the future for you to release themes of your own original artwork or any type of extension or play off of another theme, something you see you like, you're inspired by, and you want to do your own version? Is there anything like that in the future?
That's a loaded question, John. Well, first, let me just start by saying real quick that a booth was never made by Matahan as a theme.
Right, right.
He created, I believe, a theme for his own computer out of his icons,
Okay.
but it's an icon set. And
Right.
what I've done in my theme is I actually take pieces of his icons and incorporate it into the UI.
Hmm.
Like I'll chop something up and make it into a shape that actually works with iOS, that stretches properly and whatnot.
Okay.
But that being said, yeah, I'm actually started a project just recently with my brother. My
Oh.
brother's he's an artist of sorts. He's a painter. He writes. He's actually writing a novel right now too. Sculptor. He he's a good digital artist,
Hmm.
and I've already talked to Yop over there at Bad, and it's going to be a limited Bad release. I'm not part of the team,
Right,
and I've
right.
told him I don't want to be part of the team because I can't dedicate enough time that I would feel adequate. But yeah, it's going to be called Bad Experiment,
Hmm.
and hopefully it'll be released in a couple of months from now. I don't know. My brother's kind of a little flaky sometimes, so it might take a little bit longer. But I have a
Okay.
pretty cool, unique, original idea. I don't want to really divulge that
Yeah,
information.
I don't blame you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it'll be pretty sick. It's gonna keep. It'll be unique, kind of like in the way of BUUF, but it's not gonna look like BUUF at all.
Awesome. Because honestly, whenever somebody sees BUUF, they just know automatically what it is, and those that don't, they always want to know because they always claim, "I've never seen anything like that." They look at your phone, they grab it, and it's just always like the look of awe that crosses their face. It's a very unique theme.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to do with BUUF because it's never been done before. Is make kind of like a manly version.
Hmm.
Because all the other BUUFs that I've seen released, it's kind of little cutesy little girl, and there's cute elements to BUUF
Hmm.
anyways. But I like mixing that with the dark.
Hmm.
It kind of even makes it darker, mixing some cute elements with some
Yeah.
dark.
Oh, Tim Burton would be proud because it's very you see it, you look at it, and it's very very Tim Burton inspired.
That's what I thought when I saw that eyeball tree. That is
Oh
actually
yeah.
it's not a Matahan piece.
Hmm.
It's by a guy named Zilla774,
Hmm.
and I looked at that. I'm like, oh, that thing's got to blink, man. That thing's got to.
Okay. Now, moving on to what I consider to be a rather touching subject. Recently, there was a situation in the iCommunity where you reached out and asked for help when it came to doing something that at the moment you weren't physically able to do yourself. Like you mentioned earlier, work was a problem and you were very open about that and you were very honest. And you basically asked the iCommunity to step in and help you basically brighten someone's day, make their experience better. You wanted to get your mom an iPad too because of the fact that you no longer live within realistic distance to be able to see them on a frequent basis. And she had never had any technology that was up to date or modern, and she was always the type of person, which you mentioned, who would never be selfish enough to waste any type of money on herself in order to do that. And on my great iPhone, I actually released a piece requesting people to call attention to that matter, and I wanted people to know about what was going down. And I also want to be clear, it's not because you asked me to. If I remember correctly, you didn't even know about it until I published it. But I saw it and it did touch me, and I wanted other people to see it. My question is the way it turned out. I remember seeing the YouTube video that you promised everyone of her receiving it. How did you feel about the way everything turned out? How has that worked out for her? How has that, I don't know, how has that embedded what you feel and how you react to the community since then?
Man, I can tell you, John, I was in awe of how quickly everyone came together and how much. I didn't expect to get that many donations, but dude, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I got emotional in that video. At one point, you could hear my voice cracking. There's a reason why my head's tilted this way talking to my mom in that video, bro, because But I mean, I'm still every time I get a FaceTime call from my mom, which is a few times a week, it's just amazing, brings a smile to my face every time. It's great being able to see my folks, man, not just hear them on the phone. I have the warmest part in my heart for the iCommunity, the members that came up and did what they did and pitched in, and just the messages I received from people were outstanding, man. And, I'm always down for a cause myself. I'm sure you've seen plenty of times. I try to promote good causes as much as possible. But yeah, for all you guys out there who pitched in, and just even if you couldn't pitch in, you just said, "What's up? Hey, I think it's great what you're doing for your mom. Hey, thank you, all of you." That was.
I actually have a question that was mailed into me. Okay, in our last installment of Meet the iCommunity, we spoke with Jim Andrew, otherwise known as Jim A6636 on Twitter, on YouTube, on The Basement, and a particular topic was brought to our attention. And through independent research and investigative reporting, we've anonymously been informed that you are, in fact, the midget.
Yeah, I caught myself. 5'7". I'm short. I ain't a friggin' midget.
Okay. All right. So I'll label that one off as false.
You could talk to my girlfriend if my stature stands up.
I don't think that would be good for this particular type of interview. All right. With that being said, back to BUUF for the iPad 2. Is there anything that you'd like to mention about it? Any new features? Any future updates, releases info?
Yeah, there will be more updates, man. I'm trying to avoid actually a lot of updates because it involves a lot of making your own icons, or not making, but theming your own icons. If you don't use the icon mask that Schmilt created.
He's another great themer, by the way.
The only problem with updates is that's what it does. If people don't back up their folders, it's going to wipe everything out.
Yeah.
So I'm planning to maybe just keep working on it. If people really want early releases, if I know who they are, maybe if they donate it, I'll give them little installments. Like if they say, "Oh, I saw this on your video. I like that feature. Can you send it to me?"
Right.
If I know them well, yeah, I'll email it. But I don't want a flood of people asking for little extras here, there, there. I got another life. I'm not selling the damn thing. It's not like you're waiting on paid products. So yeah, there will be, I think, maybe one major update, and then maybe I'll shell out the rest in sub packages.
Well, I also noticed that for this particular theme, not the iPad version yet, but for the iPhone and the iPad, there are a lot of widgets and additional add-ons like live clocks, and it's not necessarily done by particularly you or Doreen or Madahan. It's by a lot of random people who just wanted to contribute to the project. And are there any of those widgets that you approve of, that you use yourself, that winds up making its face known?
Yes, there is. Yep. Right there.
Ah, yes, the live action.
That is the BUUF Law flip clock. You can get that in Cydia. It's for per page HTML, and that's the best BUUF widget that I've seen of any type. It's awesome. The guy over there, I believe that's created by a guy named White Belt. His real name's Craig or Greg. Really cool guy. He actually had a little war going on against Doreen on her blog, and he has another blog on Mod My Eye. Yeah. And there was some little beef with me and one of and her partner at one time, all as well.
Yeah.
He didn't like the idea that I was using images that they were using in their theme, even though it's all BUUF icons that
Right.
might have been
Right.
modified, you know. But I weeded out 99% of all of that work, unless they were suggestions by me and partially created by me.
Okay. And speaking of controversy, like I mean, you can throw a rock in any direction in the iCommunity, you'll see somebody fighting with somebody else. A lot of people have claimed that in the past year or so, maybe even longer, that the community known as the iCommunity has gone downhill from what it originally used to be. And you know, I was there too. I see the changes, and you know, you were just talking about installer, so that obviously shows that you've been there since before the days of Cydia yourself. What's your opinion on the current state of the iCommunity? I mean, everybody has mentioned that it's a shadow of its former self, and now that it's all commercialized and everybody wants to make money off of everything. So, where's your stance on that?
I think people are looking too damn deep into it. If anything, it's bigger and stronger than it's ever been. I mean, hell, man, look what you got here. I started creating themes in the last year.
Right.
That made the iCommunity better.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, no, really, realistically, man. I mean, I look at all the tweaks out there now, and what's being offered, and the themes, and Bad Gigabyte coming together as a crew. A lot of people look down on Bad Gigabyte, you know, as a like organization, whatever you want to call it,
Right. Right.
team, whatever. I think it's great, man. Some of the top themers out there getting together and working together, and you know, it's only going to help them improve each other's individual themes by
Mm-hmm.
working together. You know, someone might have an idea, or hey, I can't find this, I need to fix for it, which we have anyways on Twitter, you know,
Yeah.
between each other. But a tight knit team like that's pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, there's a lot of other great themers that aren't part of that team, and that team. I'm glad, because you know we want diversity,
Yeah.
and that's really what it is. You talk about the commercialization of the jailbreak community. I mean, it kind of has ever since Cydia Store, but like I said earlier, I mean that's only pushing developers to I think build a better product. You know what I mean? Once there's some incentive behind it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get more product. You know,
Right. Right.
and there's still also the little grassroots stuff going on, like in my theme. My theme, it just became popular. I mean, I don't know how I got on featured artists. I never thought I'd see my name up there at Cydia, but you know, mine's free, and you'll find a lot of people who are making free themes and whatnot, and not all of it's on Cydia. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
like search around some threads. You'll see a bunch of stuff getting started. Maybe
Right.
maybe
Right.
new themers that have a lot of talent that don't know how to complete their theme. You know, the people that are saying that it's gone downhill are kind of the people I think that are sitting back and watching and taking from the community more than helping with it.
Mm.
I think the people that are the ones building the community would have the exact opposite opinion. I think that there's a lot of tools available now. You know, I mean, people were talking about, oh, it was so great back in 2 point whatever days. Like, you son of a bitch. You didn't have half the crap that was on your phone stock on
Yeah.
those days. I said, and most of that stuff you were able to do, you can do now. People
Mm-hmm.
are always, just because for the first few months of a firmware bundle, or first whatever, yeah, 5 months, some of your tweaks don't work. Once they do, think about what that device is going to do.
Right. Right.
It didn't happen in one day. You know?
Ain't that the truth? Now, pretty much, this is the end of the interview. Is there anything that you would like to leave prospective themers with? Any advice that you'd like to give them, or even just a regular average member of the iCommunity? Is there anything that you'd like to leave them with when it comes to particularly advice on how to interact with the people in the iCommunity, or with anything in general? Like you have a free mic right now.
Start with your own. Just make it personal for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Purchase something from Bad Gigabyte, a complete theme. I'm only mentioning them because I know that their themes are very complete. Or
Right. Right.
I'd suggest KRS Chris. I don't know if his other works, but I know ReviDX is awesome. But the only
Mm-hmm.
problem with that one is a lot of the images are very, very similar and very simple. They're going to be hard to depict which one is which.
Right. Right.
You can go with something from Bad Gigabyte. I'm sure if you hit me up on Twitter later, I'll let you know. I wasn't prepared for this, but
Okay.
you know, I can give you some ideas for a complete theme and tear it apart. Look into it. Um, what I did is I took a very complete theme originally, and I installed one folder in the keychain at a time and saw what it changed. And then I looked at those images, dissect it, see what size the images are, and start from there. Start making your own stuff. So it's going to take you a while to make your first one, and it's going to take you a while to make your second, but it'll get easier and easier as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
But don't release something. Don't release a bunch of cheap themes.
Right.
Release a good one. Get known. Show it to before you release on Cydia. Have it ready. Have it finished. Go into Twitter. Twitter is the best place for the iCommunity, if you ask me, in regards to theming and whatnot.
Right.
And seek out all the best themers. Show it to all of them. Get your stuff out there first, and then release it. People will start asking you where they can get it.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time for this interview. I definitely appreciate it. For anyone viewing, if you have any more interest in the iCommunity, stay tuned. We'll be doing more of the Meet the iCommunity podcasts. And with that being said, thank you very much for your time, and we'll all be monitoring what goes down on Twitter. Thank you.
Thanks, John, man. I'm
No,
honored, dude.
no problem, man. We'll keep you updated.